You've cleaned up the diet, you've added the probiotics, and you've run every single food sensitivity panel. You've tried more supplement protocols than you can probably count, and your child is still struggling with the same gut issues, mood swings, eczema, or even sleep problems. Here's the truth that most parents are never told, is that you haven't failed. You've just been working downstream of the real problem. So when it comes to your child's gut, the brain is in charge, not the food, not the bacteria. The nervous system tells the gut how to move, how to absorb nutrients, and when to calm inflammation. And when that system is stuck in stress mode, no gut healing protocol on earth will give you the breakthrough that you're truly searching for. So if you're a parent who has already poured time, energy, and money into diet changes, probiotics, supplements, and gut healing protocols, and are still wondering why your child is still struggling with chronic digestive issues, behavioral meltdowns, sensory sensitivities, or inflammation that just won't quiet down, this video is for you. Because here in the next few minutes, you're going to learn a couple things. You're going to learn why the brain actually controls the gut, not the other way around. The 4 critical jobs that the vagus nerve does for digestion every single day. How birth trauma and the perfect storm break the brain-gut connection early in life. Why diet and supplements alone can't restore a dysregulated nervous system. And lastly, the path forward that finally makes all of the other healing work pay off. So here's a stat that changes everything. Around 90% of the body's serotonin, which is the neurotransmitter that regulates mood, sleep, and digestion, it's produced in the gut. And 70 to 80% of your child's entire immune system lives there too. So when parents tell us that their child's mood, sleep, immune system, and digestion are all off, that's not 5 separate problems. That's one system that's breaking down in 5 different places. But here's what the wellness world rarely talks about. None of the gut chemistry happens on its own. The vagus nerve has to signal the gut to produce serotonin, to open the cellular gates to absorb it, and route it to the right destinations. So the nervous system tells the immune system when to turn inflammation on and when to shut it off. So without that signal, the chemistry really just kind of sits in the warehouse. In one clinical study of 120 colicky babies, researchers found that there's actually measurable autonomic nervous system dysregulation and significant improvement after gentle chiropractic care, with no adverse effects reported. That's not coincidence. That's the brain-gut connection at work, and it's the missing piece in most pediatric gut healing plans. So most parents have learned that the gut-brain story is completely backwards, that the healing of the gut will heal the brain. The brain actually sends the signals down the vagus nerve to govern digestion from the top. So motility, absorption, and inflammation all require a coordinated nervous system input to function properly. Think of the vagus nerve as the head chef at a kitchen, and diet is the groceries. So without a head chef giving orders, it doesn't really matter if the food is organic or how skilled the staff are. The kitchen falls into chaos no matter how much money you've spent on supplies. So there's 4 roles that the vagus nerve holds, 4 jobs. First is the motility, so the movement of the food through the digestive tract. So if there's no signal from the vagus nerve, we get constipation, slow transit, and even toxic buildup. Second is absorption. It opens the cellular gates so nutrients can actually enter the bloodstream instead of passing right through it. Assimilation is the third one, which routes the nutrients to the right destination, like iron to bone marrow and B12 to the nerves. And then inflammation control. So the vagus nerve is the body's chronic inflammation off switch through the cholinergic pathway. When this nerve is offline, supplements and probiotics enter a system that can't fully use them. This is why families plateau after months of doing all of the right things. The perfect storm of stressors is really what breaks this connection between the brain, the vagus nerve, and the gut. Because first you have prenatal stress, which will alter how the vagus nerve even develops in the womb, sometimes before birth even happens. And then there's stress at birth, or what we call birth trauma, which are things like forceps, vacuum, C-section, breech presentation, induction, or even fast labors, because it strains the upper neck where that vagus nerve sits and where it exits the skull. And that strain creates subluxation, so that physical misalignment, that restricted joint motion, and the disrupted nerve signaling. There's also early exposure to antibiotics, which completely wipe out the whole digestive microbiome, and it weakens the gut lining integrity. Environmental toxins and processed foods. Stack that inflammation on top of an already dysregulated nervous system. And by 3 or 4 years old, what began as birth trauma has hardened into a chronic pattern of dysregulation. But here's why diet and supplements alone aren't really enough. Because you can have the cleanest foods on earth, but they can't compensate for a broken signaling system that's upstream. Probiotics, enzymes, herbs, they can't take orders from a head chef who's unconscious, okay? This is why so many families stall after months, sometimes even years, of restricted diets and expensive supplements, because nutrition is essential, but it's the groceries, not the chef. The nervous system has to come back online for everything else downstream to work. Functional medicine, gut protocols, and pediatric therapies, they start multiplying once neurology is regulated first at the foundation level. So here's what healing actually looks like. Most children will show measurable shifts in sleep and digestion within the 4 to 8 weeks of consistent care. Bowel movements become regular, reflux quiets down, and food tolerance starts to widen. Not so picky of an eater. Next comes the immune challenges or changes. So fewer infections, calmer skin, less eczema flares. Then comes the behavior and emotional side. So less meltdowns, focus improves, anxiety eases, and then finally developmental gains. So things like speech, motor skills, social engagement, all of that starts to advance. And this isn't a marketing sequence. It's a nervous system that's rebuilding from the foundation first and up from there. So if you've poured your heart into your child's gut health and you still feel stuck, please hear this. Your child's nervous system is simply stuck in stress mode. And that's something that we can help shift gently from the foundation up. At New Ridge Chiropractic and Wellness here in Colorado Springs, we use insight scans, which will objectively measure where your child's nervous system is dysregulated, and then gentle, neurologically focused chiropractic care to restore the brain-gut connection from the top down. Click the link in our bio or send us a DM, or you can even go to newridgechiro.com to start your child's healing journey with Dr. Josh or myself, Dr. Kelly, today. Your family deserves so much more than another supplement protocol on the shelf. You deserve hope, you deserve answers, and most importantly, you deserve help. Because at the end of the day, every kid counts and expect miracles. We'll chat next week.